Hello and welcome to the Dad and Buried podcast. As always, my name is Mike, aka Dad and Buried. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I used to have a blog. I also run the Got Toddlered account, which I resurrected. Please send me your before and after photos. Honey, have you ever sent me? Oh, I'm here with my wife, Mom and Buried. You can find her in all those same places, although she does not have a blog. And you don't have a Got Toddlered account because you look exactly the same as you did before you had kids.
Thank you, darling. You know, I haven't aged a day.
That is 100% accurate and truthful.
But you still have a blog. I think we should maybe put something on it sometime when it's not like a pandemic or.
I've got a lot going on. So as you mentioned, we're still in the midst of a pandemic. But on the bright side, it's fall. And tonight, that's what we're going to be talking about. Fall family fun.
Oh my God, who's so excited?
You know what? It's not a coincidence that fall family fun all starts with F because it fucking sucks. And I'm not, you like to say, and somebody asked me, oh, I think that you protest too much because you say that too. You actually enjoy it and you have fun. We're going to get into that. When
I
we talk
don't think you always enjoy it. I don't think that's always true. But, you know, you usually have enough moments to make you tolerate it.
Sure. And I really, really enjoy usually like the car ride home. Knowing that I've done it and we've checked it off the list.
Checked.
And the kids
Except
are maybe
for
falling
this
asleep.
year.
The kids are maybe falling asleep or watching a screen. I'm listening. You're definitely falling asleep because you can't be in the car for more than 15 minutes without taking a nap. And
Why would I be?
Why
would like any mom be in the car for more than 15 minutes without taking a nap?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're driving. That's probably about the only reason I can think of it. I can't sleep in the car. But anyway, so we're going to get into fall family fun and our different opinions on it. And I asked a bunch of polls around this, some fall family fun questions. And you may be surprised at some of the answers. We are going to get into Halloween, which is, 2 weeks from now.
I know. I'm like sad. It's going by too fast.
Okay, we're going to have an episode about that. We've done that. The kids are growing up too fast. Everything's too fast with you. You know what? Everything's too fast, but 2020 can't end soon enough from my perspective.
It's not going to end then. I don't know.
I think it's 2020 for the rest of our lives. This is the fear.
Could be 2020 like indefinitely.
If Trump wins, it's 2020 for the rest of our lives. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about fall family fun. And I'm not a huge fan of fall fun, and we'll discuss why. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm sure you know already. One funny thing about fall that we did today was get the kids flu shots. That wasn't a lot of fun. Did you have fun?
So fun.
We went to the wrong doctor's office first because our doctor's office has multiple locations, and we went to the wrong doctor's office first, and then we went to the second one. And the entire time, I'm just like, this is going to be meltdown city. These kids do not like shots. They're going to freak. And the hammer was freaking.
Especially one of them does not at all. So
the hammer took it like a champ last year, but I think maybe because he got hurt. Was it last summer that he hit his head?
I don't know.
So he hit his head and had to go to the hospital, like the emergency room, and he's been pretty scared, I think, of the prospect of doctors and hospitals since then because he had to get staples in his head, and that could not have felt good. Luckily, he won't remember that 20 years
to their credit, they both were freaking out a ton more before. They both did a great job. I will say that kind of links to one reason why fall family fun is going a little too fast for me because we live up north. It's like pandemic world right now, but you can go outside, you can do things, and fall family fun fits that category. But once we get past that, and especially after Christmas, all hell breaks loose. We're just gonna be stuck in our house in Brooklyn. And it's not going to be fun for anyone. So we can look forward to that, Down and Buried.
Well, last year, it didn't really snow much, which actually you end up being disappointed by.
I hate that. So now it's just cold and wet.
It wasn't even that cold last year.
Nowadays, anything below 50 is too cold. Like, to just be nothingness and wet.
High 40s ain't too bad if it's not like freezing. But you know what? We'll get into winter family fun in December.
In a couple months.
No, there is no winter family fun. Much like fall family fun, there is no winter family fun. But we're going to get into all of the fun that Mommy Berry tries to wring out of this. one of the questions I asked was, if you do this kind of stuff in your family, who drives it, the moms or the dads? And the answer will not surprise you.
Although I have seen comments and stuff of people saying, that it's them who are miserable. And I'm like, wow, we should not hang out.
Oh, the moms are complaining about it? Yeah, they're not your kind of moms.
Well, no, I'm sure they're lovely. You probably would love us to be friends.
I would. Be more lazy.
Let her rub off on you.
So we still have a whole bag of apples in the kitchen that we haven't touched since we went on our apple
I'm going to bake a pie. If
Nobody
I
likes
ever
pies.
stop homeschooling my pre-K-er, and my fifth grader, I'm going to bake a
trash. I'm not interested in
God.
it. Fruit is not dessert. Go listen to my IGTV I did on this. I will brook no argument on this topic. Fruit is not dessert. Nature's candy. Up yours.
I love pie. Is probably my favorite thing to bake too. So
go chocolate or go home. Go chocolate or go home.
Yeah,
we're gonna get.
It's delicious.
Well, we'll see. You haven't even made it yet.
No pie for you.
It's mid-October and you haven't even made the damn apple pie. We got a whole sack of apples sitting on the kitchen floor. They're gonna rot like they always do. We're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about it when we get back from this break. Thank you for listening. All right, we are back to Dad and Buried Podcast. Co-hosting once again is the lovely Mom and Buried, and tonight we're going to be talking about fall family fun. I asked a bunch of questions. We're going to get into that in a few minutes, but as always, want to remind you, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, pretty much everywhere you want to listen to your podcast. You can leave reviews and ratings. You can subscribe. Please subscribe. If you want to leave a rating on Apple, trying to get to over 300 there. We haven't had a new one in a while. We would appreciate that. And we do have a handful of people who follow us on YouTube where you can comment on specific episodes and see what we're wearing. Today I'm wearing an orange shirt. It's actually Dolphins colors. Dolphin shirt, Dolphins hat. I usually wouldn't do the double thing, but nobody watched us on YouTube anyway. There are a handful of people who give us money on Patreon to help us keep doing this thing. Ryan Miller and MS Babayan actually use Anchor. Thank you very much, guys. Molly Robertson, Take Your Kids at the Door. Chris Coleman, M. Cedeno, Mallory McKenzie, Miriam, Tina Davis, Rob Gilberry, Lindsay Woodruff, Andrew Sandoval, Barbara Geiger, Bill D'Amica, Dana Bosday, Jacques Ovar, Morning Glow, Cotton Farmer AZ, Wes Clark, Jennifer Wynn, Julie McCarthy, Paula Polsky, Mary Williams, and Julie Burton. Thank you one and all for contributing, either with your words or with your wallet. I coined that. I said that at some point at the beginning of the podcast once, and Pete was like, "You nailed it, Mike. You really nailed it." Pete couldn't be with us again. Everybody has a lot going on, but we are here with Mom and Buried, and we did want to talk about. There's a new addition to the Dad and Buried home. Actually, two of them, courtesy of the good people at Zizzo, who make foldable bikes, and they sent us a pair of foldable bikes. And now, finally, right when the winter freeze is coming down, we can no longer go outside. We're going to get some exercise in for about a week and a half.
No, I am very excited about this. MJ surprised me with this because it was kind of like a belated.
I was trying to get it for our anniversary, so I was working with them from like late August, and it didn't happen for another 2 months. So, but we're very grateful. They're fun. I've only ridden mine a couple of times so far. And it's fun. It's like being a kid again, It's just like, just being a kid.
But you
took a big trip today.
I took a bit of a long trip today. I think I might actually go into long distance biking.
Give me a break.
Just to get
not
away
on my watch. Only to get one of those trailers and tow the kids.
Cross country biking is really my new calling.
So
it was beautiful in the fall.
I grew up with a kid in my neighborhood who was like a competitive cyclist he was older than me. It's like my oldest brother's age a little bit, but he would just ride everywhere. You would be like out and about running errands, like with your mom miles and miles away. And you'd be like, hey, there's Kevin. So he'd ride his bike. He's just going to ride it back home. It's like a 10-speed back in the day when people used those. But you took your maiden voyage today. It was a beautiful day, crisp fall air. You had to go get some stovetop stuffing for our gourmet meal.
Yes, my gourmet. Hey, don't mock my meal.
No,
my meal
I love it,
lovely.
Man. You remember the stovetop commercials where the kid was like can you come over to my house for dinner? What do you have? And stovetop. Let me call home. And he goes, Mom. And she's like, you got to come home for stovetop dinner. And the kid somehow manipulates his way into getting 2 stovetop dinners in one night, like a mad scientist.
I made stuffed pork chops, but at this day and age, I mean, I'm not going to freaking like fucking, sorry. Forgot
Jesus
that I
Christ.
could curse.
Spit it out.
No, forgot. It doesn't matter.
You made stuffed pork chops.
A delicious dinner. I took a lovely ride. I have to say, I was so impressed by how like smooth it was. I was passing by someone and a woman's like, "Oh, look how cute that bike is."
Look at you.
At a moment, yeah.
You have a nice powder blue one. Is it powder blue? Light blue?
Yes.
Powder blue. And I have a nice red and black one, which is it's fucking badass. Again, I've only ridden it a few times, but I've really enjoyed it, and I'm really excited about getting I need to shed some pounds. I think we can all agree that the pandemic has not been good for my waistline, as they say, right? They say that.
You can't even blame the stovetop. This is the first time I baked anything like that in a while. So.
Yeah, and I miss stovetop. Not enough that I would try to have 2 stovetop meals in one night, but we can't all be pioneers like that kid.
Awesome bikes. Thank you. MJ.
Thank you so much, Zizzo. We got the Vias. The Zizzo Vias, and they are perfect for not having a lot of space. We just fold them up. They're in our little crawl space where we keep the kids sometimes, and we pop them out and we take them for a ride. That is my kind of fall family fun, not this nonsense that we're about to talk about. So fall family fun in our family is a tradition, and it's a torturous one for me. I know it's coming up every year. Apple picking, no thank you. Pumpkin picking, don't want anything to do with it. At the end of the day, there's Halloween, and even around Halloween, you make us go to some weird ass like jack-o'-lantern festival or some shit every year. So a lot of times
this year
we went apple picking. Was it last weekend? It was a freaking 3-hour drive to get there because we hit traffic on the way out of the city. And
to be fair, I didn't pick the closest apple picking farm because I needed
who are you being
the
fair
best.
To? To be fair, what do you mean to be fair?
Because I remember like last year, I have to say that I hate I don't really like the agritourism places, right? Where it's like Disneyland but a farm.
Oh yeah.
I don't like if it's too crazy.
You want a pure farm experience.
This one was somewhere in between, just like an operating farm and like one of those huge ones. And it was really good too about you had to have the entry, you had to have tickets. They really didn't have overcrowding. So also COVID.
Yeah, but that's a coronavirus thing, like pretty much everywhere. That's actually I kind of like now about coronaviruses. If you're going to go somewhere that traditionally you would go and it would just be swarmed with people, now you need to make a reservation, and they still overcrowd. Like this place was pretty crowded.
I wouldn't say it was crowded.
Much more manageable.
You haven't even. I mean, I don't even know if you even know. Like the last week of summer before school started, and our school started late, like mid-September. I actually already took our kids to a farm in Jersey.
Oh my God! Yeah, you did it once
during a weekday, but that was really for the sunflowers though, so that was different.
So hold on. So this was so I asked a bunch of poll questions, and that was actually one of them, right? So I want to get into that really quick. One of the questions, actually, let's just go in order, but that is one of them, and it's an interesting part that really irritates me. So the first question I asked was, do you like fall? It's a layup. Everybody likes fall, right? Spring and fall, most people would say, are their favorites, and there's not much spring, at least certainly not in the Northeast much anymore. I think it's kind of disappearing everywhere, but people like the more moderate temperatures, whether outside or not.
Not enough fall. To me, one problem I have with fall, even though I think my favorite, used to be my favorite season. I don't know. That and summer's running pretty close these days. But the problem is I love fall and I love the holidays, and then I hate the next 5 months of my life.
You know what? You must have seasonal depression.
I believe I do, actually.
Yeah. But you have it like you're anticipating it.
Yeah.
Why don't you see winter as half full, right? The glass of winter is half full. To have a good time.
And I love it when it like snows and things like that. But once it, especially by February, I'm done with winter. Let's move along to the good seasons. Like, I'm done.
So you're saying fall's not long enough, and the fact of the matter
Yes.
is there's only 2 seasons now, winter and summer, for the most part, and it's climate change, and it's it's a hoax perpetrated by the Chinese, and I'm simply not going to fucking stand for it anymore. The
Okay.
second,
Crazy
92% of
pants.
people said they like fall. I asked if they like Halloween. Only 74% like Halloween.
I think some people had like something happen in their childhood if they don't like Halloween.
Well, well, maybe they saw too many scary movies. We do Spooktober. If you follow my Instagram and my Instagram stories, we do Spooktober every October, where Mama Berry's like, oh, let's watch scary movies all month long, but she doesn't actually like scary movies. So you'll either leave the room, make us turn it off, you're never in the mood for a real one, or you just cover your face the whole time.
I am a huge wuss. I don't know if we're going to get into scary movies later, but I do love doing the Spooktober thing. Although maybe the key is the spook part, like all the stuff that we watch with the kids, I am all in. It's really the things that are
worst stuff
devised to scare me.
What is it? Halloween Land?
Halloween Town is horrible.
You watch Halloween Town. You watch with Debbie Reynolds, who's a grandma. It's this kind-hearted family junk. You watch Twitches.
A 4-year-old
with sister stars. Well, Tia Mowry and her twin sister, whatever their names are.
That's because actually it's not. I had never seen that before. I have to say though, the kids know, especially right now in a pandemic where we're in the house most of the time and we're homeschooling and all of that. If you say, "Do you want to watch a Halloween thing?" I'll say yes.
Yes, so but then you choose.
Get away with anything if it's like that.
But then you choose Hocus Pocus, literally, legitimately, one of the worst, most amateurish pieces of garbage. Whatever. So I want to watch legit scary stuff. It doesn't work out that way for me. But you do love Halloween. We have some Halloween-related questions coming up as well.
Yes, we'll get there.
So here we go. Do you like fall family fun activities? 67% like it. Now, my demographic is about 75% female. So I don't know if we were to ask spouses or husbands, what are you doing? I can't even see you. If they like it, we probably would not get anywhere near as high a number, because the next question is, does your spouse like it? And 56% is no. I'm going to assume, based on the numbers I know, most of that is the men who don't like it.
Perhaps. Strong odds.
Do you go apple picking? 69% said they don't go apple picking.
Crazy. You know what, though? I have to say, so I kind of grew up on an actual farm. My grandparents owned like a big farm where they sold things to people, like farm stand, everything. I remember picking pumpkins. I remembered that corn changed.
Are you talking about your own farm?
I didn't go like hiding in it. You know what I mean? Like where the corn dries out and all that.
But are you talking about, did your grandparents have this kind of stuff on their farm?
No, I don't think it existed. Like, you know what I mean? People came there to get vegetables.
I went apple picking when I was a kid.
Okay, see, this is the thing. I think it's a lot a Northeastern thing. I will even admit that this is kind of your fault, because when I lived on the West Coast or even in the South, I never did this prior to becoming a couple. And now we've done it all the time. So,
but not really, because you like it though. Don't act like
it's forced upon you. Totally love it, but it's still your fault.
It's garbage. You go and there's a million jokes online. Simon Holland has one. You know, go apple picking and spend $75 on a fifth of the amount of apples you can get at the grocery store for $10.
Sure.
It's always, and Pete and I have talked about this, is always warmer than you want it to be. There's bees everywhere. It always takes longer than you think. Again, it took us 3 hours to drive out there.
Well, for those who can see, I am in fact wearing flannel, which I would never wear except if I was going like apple picking. Only I would be stripped down to my bra by now, because it will in fact be 80 degrees.
So if you want to see Mama buried in her bra, go apple picking in upstate New York on a sunny day. Apparently, she's gonna give it up. So Joey T. Demo said they went apple picking once and would again, except that their kid puked in the car on the way home due to car sickness. Then she says the orchards near us are not in a good location for people with car sickness. I don't know what that means.
It's probably far.
Okay, fine. I guess that could be it, right? It's not like they drive onto a cruise ship and you get sick. I didn't know what she meant. Are there different geographies, topographies that make one more prone to car sickness? I guess the length of the drive may be it. So she says we won't go again. So lucky her. She got out of it because her kid pretended to puke that one time because he knows what's good for him. That kid's a mastermind.
It's a shame because Munch gets car sick, but he hasn't vomited on this trip. And the thing is the kids love it so much, I don't even think they'd care. They will eat 17 cider donuts and vomit them everywhere, and they're like totally okay.
No, so the hammer would be fine with it. It would traumatize, or he wouldn't traumatize Munch, but he would link it with that experience forever. He doesn't forget stuff like that. So he would be like, no, I don't want to puke every single time. This is actually a good idea. Let's do a Pavlovian situation where we just link up puking and apple picking with him, and he'll never want to go, and it'll be 2 against 2. Finally, I'll have a chance in the fight, and then we'll still end up going.
But I see here you are listing some of the amazing things you can do apple picking, guys. It's more than just getting overpriced apples.
It's more than just going apple picking. I will say the apple picking, depending on the crowds, is the worst part of the experience. So the one we went to had an obstacle course, which was like a little charming and fun. It wasn't super elaborate. Like you said, it wasn't like, what'd you call it? Agri-fun?
Agritainment is the industry. That's a thing now.
They had a bouncy thing, which everybody loves. One of those huge, big balloon.
Which they don't have, I think, a lot of places. And it was part of the reason we went this far. It's not a bouncy house, guys. It's a big balloon. And it was definitely me and Dad and Mary that were like, "Oh, we gotta save time.
Let's hit this twice.
Let's hit
this twice." So that's what it is. It's a big pillow, inflated pillow, essentially. If you go in my stories or my highlights, there's a picture of me on one with my son, and he fell down. I was laughing at him as he cried. It was great. That didn't happen this time. This time, everybody stayed on their feet, even during the obstacle course. So on top of that, there was like an apple catapult or apple slingshot where you could go put apples and try to hit a target. There was pony rides at this one. I mean, this place was agritainment. It just wasn't super aggressive about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was really big. It was spread out. I mean, because of COVID too, like when you went on the bouncy pillow, it was mainly just your family, maybe one other little family on the other end. Like it was like really doable. I thought, and we got it all in, and we were there like 3 hours, so about
3 hour drive, 3 hour drive, 3 hour experience, 2 hour drive back. This was my Saturday, a couple of weeks last week.
It was fantastic.
And it was like 2 weeks ago at this point, and there's just so much to do. And then there's the cider donuts, which you and the kids love.
You can't even forget, the cider donuts and the hot apple cider or the cold apple cider, as the case may be, if it's 80 degrees. Munch cannot get enough of that. And those cider donuts at this place were legit.
This is the lamest bar.
Some of the best I've had.
Fun. And then there's the corn maze where it's super hot and you're wandering around. And I purposely get separated from you guys so I can have a couple of minutes of peace and quiet. It was a really easy corn maze, this one. We've been in some that are hard.
Oh my God. The one here in New York, because they have like one Queens County farm one.
Is that the hard
one?
Which
we might go back to.
No.
There's like clues and stuff. We were legit lost for over 2 hours.
No, was that true?
It was 2 hours when we went with Jamie and Leslie. We were legit lost.
What a nightmare! What a nightmare! and then after you do all that, you wander into the freaking orchards to find apples. And the beginning is always the delicious, the red delicious and Macintosh and the stuff you have all the time, which isn't good enough for you. Delicious is garbage, obviously. Macintosh is good, but you just think it's like.
I hate it. I hate it. They're very mushy.
You're a snob about your apples. And then we wander around.
You just said one was trash.
Look, we're not talking about I'm a snob. We're talking about apples. Everybody likes a good Macintosh. Our oldest kid likes Granny's. Is that what the Granny Smiths?
Oh yeah, that's his favorite.
I mean, I don't know the difference between any of these apples. I don't remember Empire, Gala. All I know is essentially
Honeycrisp,
delicious.
of course, the
I don't know anything
Honeycrisp
about any of
trees
these
were
things, and I don't
bare.
want to. I don't
think
care.
some of my Apple fans could relate.
I don't care about apples. You know, what do you have, an apple cellar with apples of different strain and vintage? Nobody gives a shit about apples. This is so stupid. So then I asked, did you go pumpkin picking? So what was the number on the apples? Was 69% of people don't go apple picking, but only 57% of people don't go pumpkin picking. So people like to go pumpkin picking, I think, because you just go get a pumpkin and then you pumpkin carve. Or maybe.
No, you're wrong. This says
57, yes.
57 do go.
Yes. So the apples was 31% do go, and pumpkin is 57% do go. But what I was saying was there's more people that go pumpkin picking than apple picking, which surprised me.
It did, but I think it's a more regional thing. I don't know. That's my suspicion. Now I want to do new polls after we post this.
Here's
but
why.
Also, like I said to you, a lot of people need a pumpkin. It's Halloween. They got to get a pumpkin.
That's the thing. Pumpkins are associated with Halloween. Most people like Halloween. Apple picking is just a fall thing. It's just, who gives a shit? You have an obligation to do some Halloween stuff, whether it's jack-o'-lanterns or just, motherfucking decorative gourd season, So, listen to this. Picosa, Picosaa on Instagram, who's followed me for quite a while, I think, said, don't throw up. So this is the second one that mentioned throw up. Well, she's just telling me not to throw up here. Don't throw up. But my husband continued his family pumpkin picking tradition when he met me as his girlfriend 16 years ago. He proposed at our post-pumpkin picking beach. First of all, where's there a pumpkin picking beach?
I don't know where that person lives, but I know that there's like this totally frou-frou fake AF pumpkin place that all of the celebrities get their pumpkins in LA. And every year you'll see all the celebrities like going to this same frou-frou patch.
Do pumpkins only grow? Kind of thing. Do pumpkins need because the roll-offs on Little Big World, they had pumpkins in the Pacific Northwest.
I mean, a lot of them.
Yeah, I watch Little Big World sometimes. I used to. Okay, for a season or two. Deal with it.
Big fans. We were big fans way back in the day.
Dad's a real crazy guy.
But I mean, if you live somewhere without, and let's be honest, a lot of pumpkin farms, you go and they're like, pick your own pumpkin, but they've just thrown some pumpkins in a field. You're not even picking it for real.
I respect it. So her husband proposed after pumpkin picking on a beach in this magical world where there's pumpkins and beaches. Doesn't make any sense to me. Her husband loves going. We go to the same place every year, have been for 16 years, and we'll continue as long as our kids allow it.
That is so sweet.
What a nightmare that sounds like to me. I mean, congratulations on your 16 years of marriage, and I'm sure it's very sentimental to you. The words pumpkin farm make me sick to my stomach. Boyerstein says, a pumpkin patch is the one exception of fall family fun that I really do enjoy, but no corn maze or other BS, just a hayride and pumpkin hoarding. Okay, so I do think at places that are strictly pumpkin places, there's less of that rigmarole, right? There's usually less of that shit going on. That's more of an apple picking thing. Am I right?
Maybe, but can I counterpoint here? Like for you specifically, we've often really enjoyed the corn maze. The kids get so into it and they're running around.
I don't mind.
Very excited. Huh?
I don't mind the corn maze. It's just usually like the centerpiece or the last thing we do in a very long day of activities. So you do a bunch of other stuff, but you still always know you have to do the corn maze and you have to do the apple picking, even on top of all that other stuff. It's just a lot. It's just a lot of stuff.
Oh, you're so BS. You love it. I have footage.
This is not true. I'm not a miserable person where I'm going to be angry the entire time unless like we go on a Sunday.
You're often a miserable person. Angry.
All right. Moving on. So Boyerstein mentioned that there was none of that extra stuff, but there was a hayride. Can I say something?
Sure.
Maybe my least favorite moment of going to either an apple pecking place or a pumpkin place is the minute you realize that they're going to put you on a truck or a tractor to bring you out. And you're like, immediately I'm like, this adds like at least an hour to this experience. They're going to drive me like 10 minutes into the deeper regions of their farm Who cares? It's just, it's going to be a while because they come back in cycles. So even when you're done, you have to wait in a cluster with other people where you wait for the next tractor to come. Oh my God, it just takes so much longer. I hate it. Yeah, I see that thing and I'm like, this is the worst.
I'm with you on that. One, again, pretty much grew up on a farm. I know about those tractors. They're not going warp speed on your average day. Two, when I took the kids to that farm, and we weren't even really doing this stuff. We were going for something else. It was a weekday, and we did that actually on your birthday. You were working. But that was my gift to you. You not going.
Yes.
That day.
You were gone for a while. That was quite a gift.
And I swear we were stranded in this field for like an hour, and we were there for like sunflowers and some other little thing. And like the poor little hammer had to like hike back. Everyone thought they were gonna die because there's like no water out there.
Jesus, this sounds hilarious.
That particular farm. I'm not going to bash them here, although that place was like the most expensive ever. It's in Jersey. It's the biggest agritainment one, and it is actual hell on earth. But it can be done well.
Well, it doesn't. I'm glad I dodged that bullet because the next question is, do you do them separately, apple picking and pumpkin picking? And not only have you gone once without me already, you've gone with me apple picking with me and the kids. Now you're going to bring me pumpkin picking, and you're saying you might want to do another thing again. You want to do 4 trips?
What's the other thing?
I don't know.
Oh, well, the Queens County Farm is having a thing on Halloween. Well, yes, you will notice that we don't currently have a pumpkin, so you know what your future's like. I will say that usually we will do it at the same time, but this year, the only thing you can do is go outside with your kids.
Oh,
and my kids all week long between remote school and just generally not wanting to go outside because we live in a city and it's COVID. So on the weekends, we're going outside. And that's like what you got. If you have any counter things to offer, go for it.
Well, 55% of people are with you. I don't know if they're talking about this year or just in general, that they do take 2 trips for these things, one for apple, one for pumpkin. And then I said, do your kids like it or do you force them? 72% said the kids like it.
They do.
Sure.
Because I think that
it depends on how young they are, right?
Yes.
I bet you like 12 and under, you're fine. And 12 and up, it starts to get a little dicey, I think, probably.
Well, one of our friends, KSU Julie, and she's one of our Patreon people too. She has actually a fantastic tweet where her, like, I don't know if it was like her 13-year-old. She was talking about, like, do you want to go to the pumpkin farm? Or do you want to go to you want to go apple picking or whatever? And her tweet's just like, no, let's go get apples at the grocery store. Take your Instagram pictures at the grocery store, Mom. Like,
in your face.
Yes.
Narcissist, right?
Hilarious. And we will probably hit that day, but
the Munch has already made some snide remarks when we have to record a podcast or we're doing an Instagram story or something. But you know what?
But you know what? He's still, like, he loves traditions. I love that about him. He's me in that way. Like, he'll be like, we didn't even do the apple farm yet.
Yeah.
This is all hell.
Yeah, I like giving him another reason to get upset. That's a good call.
No, but he says how he likes that stuff and it's special. He's really kind of a big sweetheart on the inside.
Well, speaking of other things he likes, my next question was, do you dress up for Halloween? Only 48% said yes. Less than half the people or half the parents who listen to the Dan and Barry podcast or who responded to this dress up for Halloween. Pete does not dress up for Halloween. We talked about this last year on a Halloween episode. Pete does not do it. I would much rather dress up for Halloween and go trick-or-treating in the neighborhood than go apple picking or pumpkin picking ever again.
This works out kind of.
Yeah, why? Because I have to do it all no matter what?
Yeah.
Guess what? You're
get
doing
one
both.
out of 3.
Then I asked.
I would just say that a lot of my friends do not at this point, but I have always loved Halloween. I love costumes. I mean, professionally, I've worked in theater for years. MJ, let's admit, what happened on one of our first dates? It was like for my birthday. What did we do?
We went fucking rodeo riding at a bar.
Yes, I made everyone dress up like it was going to be a black tie or at
Cowboy
least a fancy
hats.
affair.
You made us wear cowboy hats.
Yes, no, but the invite was kind of like dress up, so everyone would be dressed up, and then I gave you all cowboy hats, and we went and rode a bull.
Parties where you force people to do something, like there's some kind of dress code or theme and stuff. I'm not a fan of any of those things. Unfortunately, I'm married to you, so I'm always involved in them.
It was like our second date. You're still here, so works out for you.
I can't believe you didn't dump me when you saw me wearing that cowboy hat. I do not look good in a cowboy hat.
You're not good in a regular hat outside of cap.
My new hat. I got my new Finn's cap.
I prefer the Fenway, but continue.
Yeah, well, I'm breaking this thing in. I like it.
But yeah, let's talk about Halloween more because
you're in luck.
I think a lot of my friends have outgrown it, but I love dressing up for Halloween. And you're okay with it.
I tolerate it. Did you do a family costume? Only 17% do family costumes. Caleb Colby Mama says we try, but the kids are starting to have their own opinions, which is a challenge. We're running into that this year. You always wanted it. We've done a family costume for like 7 years. And this year, Munch wants to be something else that we can't really fit into.
And
or we've already done.
We could, but
we've already done it.
Yeah. We kind of, he wanted to be what he wanted to be. And usually a family costume is a really big deal to him. He's 10 now. And when we were like, we kind of already did this theme, he was like, cool, still want to be this. So I think
he's on his own.
And so, I mean, life's too short. He would have chosen to force his little brother into his theme.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like, Hammer, what do you want to be? And, he picked something completely different. So now I just have to force Dad and Buried into a couple costume.
Which is the next question. Do you do a couple's costume? And 18% do. So 82% said no, we don't. Renee, Renae 632 says, hubby would tell me to go fuck myself. Kara B03 says they're doing Rick and Morty this year. We can't see you right now.
Sorry.
CF DeBoard says, my husband is so pissed I'm making him dress up as Woody from Toy Story. You have no idea. And I responded to her and I said, I have some idea. I know what it's like to be pissed that your wife is making you dress up. I mean, one of our earliest dates before we were married, when we lived in Boston, we went up to Salem and you dressed as pre-classy Pretty Woman. So when Julia Roberts was a hooker in the beginning of the movie.
Hooker with a heart of gold.
And I dressed in an all gray suit and tried to spray my hair silver with a bouquet of roses to play Richard Gere. But as I always say, I was a little bit overweight at the time, and the spray was more white, so I looked more like Bill Clinton.
Hey, but in Salem, of all places, we won best couple costume.
Yeah, I won some
golf
balls. I won some golf balls.
And I'm sorry, I'm still proud of myself. I made that thing from scratch. It was completely pretty
your
original.
Your costume was great. I hated the wig.
I might wear that again this year.
I hate the wig. I hate the wig, but it was a very good costume. It was very impressive. Came together very well. And every year you pull off a really good costume. And every once in a while I'll fit the dude well enough that it's fine. Which is great. I'd rather do a family one because then you're doing it for the kids. When you do a couple one, you're just doing it because your wife forced you, and I feel like an idiot.
So it's going to be a fun Halloween.
Scarier than ever.
But you know what? You have lucked into the fact that most of the themed costumes we've done, except for the one you just mentioned, has been couples based or has been family based. It's been a whole family thing.
Yeah.
The only other couples costume that we've done that comes to mind to me is
Coach and Kathy Taylor. Yeah.
Coach Taylor and Coach's wife, which is easy, and that was a blast.
So good. People loved it. This was 10 years ago. 8 years ago.
It was a minute ago.
When the show was
But
still on, though, so people knew it more.
yeah, of course. But then
People really
like,
get excited to see that couple because they're
yeah.
very likable. Everybody likes them. Who doesn't like
Well,
Coach? I
I
wish
feel
Coach
like
was my
that's
dad.
people got same way. People got excited to see the nostalgia of Pretty Woman. So
Oh, yeah.
you haven't really been forced into a lot of couple
Because we have
costumes.
kids, right? And the couple of times we did go to Halloween in Boston or whatever when we were single, we did separate things. I did Clark
Same.
Kent one year because that's really easy, and then I did that again here. And then sometimes I didn't do anything. You know what? Because I'm not gonna make a fool of myself. And take it or leave it. If you wanna be in a relationship with me, guess what? Sometimes I'm not gonna dress up in your goddamn couple's costume. Okay?
You've dressed up for like a solid 10 years running. Cool.
Okay, that's family. That's family. Everybody,
Okay.
everybody, calm down. Everybody,
But you've
calm down.
also lucked into the fact that we have two boys, and the only one who's really dictated this, it's like Star Wars, Avengers,
Yeah,
Star Wars,
superheroes,
Avengers.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
things that are a little up your alley. No
And then
one's
we did,
making you dress like a princess.
and then we did Harry Potter, and I was Snape.
Yes.
Yeah, and we did Superman. We did a whole Super Family one year. Again, that was good. And we did Star Wars. Yeah, whatever. The year we did Scooby Doo, I was not my best. Blonde wig, nipples popping, the ascot.
It was okay. That was probably the roughest one. But then last year we did Avengers.
I was Hulk, yeah, which makes a lot of sense.
Hulk.
I really inhabited the character, I think, which really adds an air of authenticity to my costume. So.
Oh, and the other year that you got an easy costume, because I guess Munch went on his own that year, was when you did E.T. with the hammer. And
that wasn't easy. I'm carrying that thing around the whole night.
It was E.T., but it was so cute. He had his little handlebars with his little red jacket.
If you have a cute toddler with you, they're an excellent accessory. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of baby Yodas this year if we even go trick-or-treating. I think we're just going to have our friends over here and do a low-key thing. I do wonder, are people going to do trick-or-treating, or are they avoiding it because of COVID and all that stuff? You don't have to answer if you live in Utah or Florida. I already know what you're doing, okay? You're killing us. You're killing all of us.
And I mean, I think that probably a couple neighbors around or something will do it. Of course, like that's what they're saying in New York. Like, keep it with family and close friends and be safe and be outside. And
so you have a whole, is it one bin or two bins of like costume accessories in our house?
Well, I have downgraded a lot, so there's only two bins. And so the kids have a separate bin because they'll just get dressed up for sport.
I didn't mean this. Yeah, Detective Munch will wear a costume just any day of the week.
All the time.
Yeah, he loves it. So I didn't necessarily mean this about Halloween specifically. I said, who drives the family fun and the fall family fun in your family? Like, who is the person who's like, we're doing this, let's do this. And 85% said it was mom. Obviously, you are the one who drives in our family. You're the one who drives Halloween and all the costumes and the couple's costume with me, the apple picking, the pumpkin picking. They're going to some kind of jack-o'-lantern festival. Do
you think it's because the mom drives all of the social calendar and everything as far as family planning for the year and the schedule and everything? So that's why maybe it's mom?
I'm the one who finds out when the Dolphins are on TV or how I can watch them on Sundays so we can all gather as a family and watch the pigskin.
No one likes that.
The hammer's starting to like it. He likes to sit with me and watch football.
The hammer's in.
That's my fall family fun. Football and beer.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's fine as long as we've hit our quota of fall family fun.
We have. I hit my quota before we did any of it.
Your quota is not my quota.
Yeah, I know. This is a problem. We need to have a talk. We need to even it up. And tonight I think we're going to try another Spooktober, which we're going to take a half an hour to try to choose. And then you're not going to be happy with whatever we choose. Or we'll watch Bly Manor. What's it going to be?
Oh, well, so I will say, when it comes to Spooktober, because I love the house decorated, I love all this stuff. When it comes to horror movies, it is the one time a year where I kind of get into it. And I do love the classics. I love like the favorites. Like I love The Shining. I love Rosemary's Baby. I have a lot of fun with like Scream. Like those are all like ones I love to watch. It's just, I have a problem with, I don't know, mutilation
I don't
or
like mutilation.
I
I don't
know
watch
you don't, but
mutilation
I know a
stuff.
lot of people right here are watching like torture porn. Like,
Yeah, but
no,
that
I
doesn't
mean,
matter.
if
But
you
that
so
doesn't matter.
much as like peel off a thumbnail, I am out the door.
Well, that happened in Oculus the other night. We watched Oculus. You weren't. Were you totally out on that?
I stuck around for a lot of it. It wasn't very good, and somehow when
No,
it's just
no.
not super good, it's like easier to like disconnect and
It
be like,
wasn't.
oh,
It wasn't awful. But
well,
it wasn't good. I prefer more of the psychological stuff where it's creepy and eerie and scary, but not necessarily gory. I think those tend to be better movies more often than not. But even those you don't really want to watch.
there's a couple you like that you always bring up. What are they?
Well, I introduced you to Rosemary's Baby, which is just flat out one of my favorite movies of all time, like
That's a
top
good
five.
movie, but I'm talking about ones that I'm like,
My favorite recent ones, well, one of the big ones is It Follows, which I like a lot until like the last 20 minutes. Um, but even that isn't quite what I'm looking for, but I do like that a lot. I love The Babadook, which is pretty psychological. And if you have kids, it's good about being kind of an overworked, exhausted parent who's dealing with a kid who's a handful. I love that one. But my favorite of the past few years was Hereditary, which you got freaked out by. So the movies are a slow burn, and it's essentially like just a straight up family drama for a while. And then when the supernatural stuff does come in, it does kind of go off the walls. But
yeah.
you left before that part even. So you left during the
No.
build-up.
I watched a good amount of it, and then
Yeah, but
what's
you
the
didn't
other
see the
one?
scariest part. The
There
Babadook,
was two
you
that
didn't
I
like at all.
remember that being completely out on recently.
Midsommar.
Midsommar.
Same director. You left that within 3 minutes.
Midsommar. They didn't even get to where Midsommar is. I'm like, I am out here. And
Because they're
then,
too real. They're good dramas, though. They're about like trauma and guilt.
and then what's that other
they're
one?
rough.
Is it like Mother or something?
Mother?
Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
Where in like one of the first scenes they just put like a baby in a field.
Oh, The Witch. I love The Witch.
And
I forgot to mention that.
And I had a baby at the time, and I was just like, it's 30 seconds into this movie, they're putting a baby in the field. You know nothing good's gonna happen to this baby. I'm like, out.
That's a really slow burn. You really got to pay attention, but that really pays off, and that's another great movie. I always forget to mention that. Those are my three favorite kind of modern or recent horror movies of the decade. And then The Conjuring, I guess, would be next on that list, which is good. We tried watching The Conjuring 2, and you were fucking out on that. It's not even as good as the first one.
But to be fair, I think everyone can relate. Dolls are creepy, and anything with a creepy doll is really too scary. Creepy dolls, creepy babies.
Oh, yeah.
These are the things that are just the big no's.
I watched the Chucky remake because I love Chucky, and the Chucky remake was horrible in a lot of different ways, even though there's some people in it that I like. Anyway, I don't know what we're going to end up watching tonight. We only have about 15 days left of Spooktober, which is we'll probably get in 2 actual movies because she'll make us turn them off, or we'll stop watching the real scary ones in the middle. But I find Spooktober my fall family fun. That and football and drinking beer. There's no F word for beer, is there? For the alliteration, football, family fun. I murdered. I don't even know what I'm doing. What?
Films.
Football, films, family fun. We did it.
I know. But, sometimes you have to get your beauty rest so you can get up and just pick a shit ton of $75 apples and too many pumpkins.
People think this is like a bit. People think this is like a bit with me. I really don't like it. I will do it because I'm a family man and I'm a good dad and I'm a wonderful husband, and I will go. And only some of the time will I be scowling and annoyed that I'm there.
Admit something.
What?
Didn't you have more fun this year than you have in a while? You were, I dare say, a delight the whole day, which is not something I could usually say.
Sometimes I am aware of my limitations and work a little harder to not bring them to bear, especially because I wanted to make sure on the Sunday after that, I would be able to sit there and watch football. Tit for tat. If I did it and I was in a good mood and I was a team player and then we got home and the next day I could be like, hey, we did that thing. None of this actually matters. If I wanted to go pumpkin picking that Sunday, you would have made me do that too or been miserable.
Come on.
Admit it. Admit it. Admit it.
No, you've seen a lot of football so far this year. We're gonna have to
Fine.
take that down a notch.
I watch one game every week, but that's fine. I don't need to see tons of games, but I do
You
like
still
to see
sit around and watch it and pay attention to all the games, and then it's like, oh, there's football Monday, and then oh, now there's football Tuesday because all of the people got COVID this week, and then oh, there's football Wednesdays now. They have that Thursday night game. You baloney. Come on, there's a lot of football happening lately.
Yeah, basic. Yeah, basic. And there's been a lot of fall family fun too. So thanks for listening to this episode. We want to thank Zizzo for the wonderful gift of the bikes, which we can't wait to get more use out of. What?
Speaking of fall family fun and Zizzo, which was a wonderful gift, guys, pay attention and remind Dad and Barry that right after Halloween, like literally 5 days later, the next fall family fun we have is Mom's birthday.
No, that's not true. The next fall family fun is November 3rd when we vote Donald Trump out. Then your birthday.
Everyone vote November 3rd. So
no matter who you're voting for, everybody vote.
Yes.
Man up.
Everyone should vote. And it is my birthday though, so if you want to like sway left a bit.
Here's hoping. Yeah. If you're undecided, just vote Biden Harris for Heather's birthday. There you go. That's all the push that you need. You can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, pretty much anywhere you get podcasts. Please subscribe wherever you listen. We'd love a 5-star rating on Apple. Tell your friends about it. Comment on YouTube. You can see me wearing my orange shirt and my Finn's hat. What?
Oh, wait. I forgot to show, like, underneath.
Your Goonies.
I have layers here because I couldn't decide on Halloween theme or my favorite Goonies, Never Say Die.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know. It always seems to be a Halloween-y classic.
Halloween-y? Just Halloween.
Halloween-y. Also, I think this might be on the costume list, so.
It could be Josh Brolin. We'll talk about it after the call. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks.
Subscribe, leave us a rating, and we'll see you next time.
I don't know why you would still be watching This Isn't a Marvel movie, no matter how much I look like Paul Rudd, which you can deny it all you want. It's there in the eyes, I think. I'm young looking like him. If you enjoyed the podcast, which you obviously did or you wouldn't be listening still, sign up on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you want to listen to. Comment here on YouTube, subscribe, hit that like button. We want to hear from you. Comments, questions, dirty jokes, money, all the money you can give us. We'd love it all. Catch you next time.